Right before she died of a drug overdose, I had no idea she was taking drugs.
It gets you addicted. I mean, I started out like any drug, just doing it once a week. Then it became twice a week. Then it became almost every night smoking a little bit. Then it became waking up with it, doing it all day long.
I didn't get to see my daughter, but her dad did.
He was a heroin addict. He, had struggled with heroin for a long time, but he had been clean for a year.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, "God, why? Why did you drive?"
I looked to the left and I saw like this white truck, and I couldn't say no. I said, I go, oh Jesus, like that, and it hit us.
You will be convicted of a felony if you're caught selling this stuff.
And what you don't really realize that you're putting your life in danger and everybody else around you in danger, and it's just not worth it.
It was 8 minutes from the time the officer left, and that my daughter was killed.
Broke my back at T12, severed my spinal cord, had a punctured lung, a torn diaphragm, and several broken ribs, and that's what left me paralyzed at the waist, and he got a speeding ticket. That's it.
Welcome, folks. Thank you for being here. So, how about that story? What do you guys think? I see we have quite a few people here, and I think that's fantastic. And welcome to you all. Erna, is Kimmy with us? Are you here? Kimmy Lyric, maybe you're here. Yes, it's a very, very powerful story. I want to remind all of you to give the story a thumbs up and give this live thing a thumbs up as well, if you can. Hello, Viola. Welcome. Yeah, Stacy, twists and turns. That's describing it mildly. It's quite an odyssey that this family has gone through, and so during the editing process, I found myself starting to cry several times, and I knew how it ended, and still I get all choked up, and then make jokes about myself for being a wimp. But I got here late. Will Gray's story replay? Yeah, it's on our channel now. In fact, I can tell you where it's at right now. Right now, the story is over 1,800 views, and that it is a long story. It's 85 minutes long, and so right. Hello, Brad. Good to see you here. Thank you for joining us. Stacy says, "Same here, crying." Yeah, but I knew the ending, and I was still crying. I interviewed Gray. I knew she was okay. Ginderod, I don't know. I don't know how to say that. But I'm sorry for your loss. And there's Sheila. The first story was very powerful and amazing. I didn't catch it from the beginning. Well, it is on the channel now, so you can get it anytime. 1,843 views right now. So Gray's story, Brad, haven't heard from Nux, but someone, remember Brenda had, but haven't heard from Nux since. Let's see. Stacy says, I cannot predict the ending. Mom is extremely honorable, infirmed, and strong. Informed. There you go. Yeah, infirmed is a whole different thing, which would also involve a hospital. But so that confused me a little bit, but that's all on me. It was my fault. I cannot predict the ending. Mom is extremely honorable, informed, and strong. Entire family too. Yes, the family. The family's pretty awesome in general. That there's this incredible level of cohesion and very, very cool folks, very cool, welcoming, uh, uh, great people. And there's also a story that we didn't get into about Lyric that is quite a victory story as well. So tell me more, folks. What did you think about the story? Do you have any questions? I don't know if Kimmy is in the group here or not. Carrie says Gray's story is miraculous. Love those wonderful parents. Yes, wonderful parents for sure. For sure. Some of the doctors, yeah, I imagine Kimmy did want to rip some of the doctors apart. Viola says thumbs up, guys, and I have to agree with that. If you click the thumbs up thing, that helps the channel, the story, the live, everything get more attention on YouTube. So the story is over 1,900 views now. And there are plenty of people watching it right now. Brenda says, Brad, are you getting dementia? I updated you on Nux 2 lives ago. Go rewatch because I don't like repeating myself. Did you get the recipes yet? And Kimberly says, Dr. Boop was a miracle angel. Yeah, he was. Kimmy and her tenacity saved Gray. Yeah. It's not even that it was easy. It would have been easy. It would have been natural to just go with what the doctors said. To go with the terminal diagnosis. It's scary how easily things could have gone wrong, except for Kimmy and Nick just not being okay with that. No, no, we're not going to go that way, Doc. And they were off. But you shouldn't need to do that. Nezzy is here, another storyteller. Thank you for joining us, Nezzy. Sheila says, congratulations, Kimmy Dawn. Very cool. So I want to thank all you folks for being here and joining the live. And I always like to check when we get a few people together. I always like to check and make sure there is and see if there's anyone who would like to who have any questions for us, questions about this story or questions about our channel or whatever, that this is a great time to put them out, because I'm just winging it here, and any questions you guys give me helps me figure out things to talk about. Kimmy says no harm in trying natural options for 12 weeks and asking for a scan. Not saying pharmaceuticals won't be necessary, but if you can save yourself of them, then it sure is fair to try. And that seems totally reasonable to me. Of course, you shouldn't take anything that the channel says as medical advice. You have to talk to doctors and do your own research, much like Kimmy did. Denise Watson is asking, where y'all from? I'm assuming you mean Nick and Kimmy and the gang. Brenda says, Kimmy, you are not allowed to share your daughter's treatment outside of the trial with other participants. Were you? And Kimberly says she's from Memphis. Kimberly Smith, not Kimmy the storyteller. Why, thank you, Nezzy. I appreciate that. Kimmy says we're very blessed and have wonderful doctors. I am pro doctor as long as they are good ones. There's the big catch, isn't it? Stacy says, I agree, Kimmy. I'm a retired nurse. Stacy is. Kimmy says, I shared information, but I was not allowed to share with kids in the trial. And the family is from Mason, Michigan. And the story, Saving Gray, is over 2,000 views now. Brenda says, Kimmy, thank you for clarifying. I understood, but I feared others watching might be judgmental. And Kimberly says, there is good doctors and there is quacks. For sure. Kimmy says, I'm a naturopathic practitioner today, and Gray's journey made me into that. I help clients all over the country. I now help clients all over the country. Good job. And people can find out more by finding you on Facebook, right? And Carrie asks, where do you get the pure cannabis extract oil? And, we don't really want to start getting into where to get stuff. But there are sources, and trying to contact Kimmy directly through Facebook by searching for Pray for Gray would be the best start. Kimmy says people will be judgmental no matter what. That is for sure. Holy cow. There are a lot of backstories to this story. People will be judgmental no matter what. You can't argue with the results Gray got, and I just let them speak for themselves. Stacy says, lovely Kimmy, the Medfield needs people like you. Samra Pierce, I have been following this family since the first surgery. Love this documentary. Very well done. Thank you so much for sharing Gray's amazing story. Her life. Her life so far. Just a long way to go. Brenda says, just don't get it from the weirdo in the basement. Yeah, that probably shouldn't get anything from the weirdo in the basement. That seems like safe advice anytime. You try to get back to where things are. Kimberly Smith says praying is powerful. I totally agree with you. Kimmy says, y'all, please don't thank me. I'm thankful you're here watching and have supported us over the years, and I'm very thankful to Glenn and Sherry for the work they did. And Stacy says, Glenn does fantastic work. Well, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. You know how good I am in accepting praise. Anyway. Sherry does, yes, and Sherry certainly does fantastic work as well. She is, she's incredible. Denise says, Glenn, where are y'all from? Oh, you mean us? We are based in Houston, Texas. That's where we're at right now. Texas Pictures World Headquarters in Houston, Texas. Brenda says, Brad, I'm not dead. Therefore, I have not quit smoking. I will try tomorrow. Remember? Okay. The 5-year plan. There is that 5-year plan again. So for the rest of you guys, what about some questions for Kimmy while she's here in the live with us? You guys have any questions you want to put to Kimmy? Comments about the story, anything like that? Carrie Summers, I've been watching for a long time. This is the first time I've ever commented. This community is wonderful. Okay, watching for a long time as in watching the lives for a long time? So, you've been watching the lives quietly, not saying anything? Is that... it's okay, but holy cow, it is an awesome community here. And wonderful the way that it comes together and how people support each other. It's an easy place to bond. Kimmy says, I can't wait to hear the other kiddos' stories. Holy cow, me neither. Because that'll mean that they're edited. And that'll be awesome. Lila Muse says, Glenn, does do fantastic work, professional, artistic, and caring. That's that's my mom, folks. So she is a little biased. Lila, good evening. Brenda says, Lila, good evening. Thanks for raising such a wonderful man. It's Glenn. Okay, so Kimberly Smith says, Kimmy, how did you learn about your job? So here's a good question from Brianna. Did Kimmy try any changes to Gray's diet or incorporating fasting? And I remember Nick saying something about diet, but I don't really remember the details. Kimmy says, no, unfortunately, at her age, I couldn't change much. She was very picky and wouldn't eat if it wasn't what she wanted. Yeah, okay, no, that's a total kid thing. You know, when you're born, the very first thing that you learn is how to manipulate others. Very first thing. That if you want something, you scream until you get it. Whatever it is. Kimmy says, after Gray got clear scans, I went to school to become a naturopathic practitioner because I realized my passion for natural healing. But if I'm being honest, I learned the most while going through the 5-year fight with my daughter. There are some things that a book just can't teach you. Brenda says, Julie, we're discussing the premiere of Grayson's story, which aired just before the chat started. Julie Strom. Thank you for joining us, Julie. Glad you're here. Very, very glad you're here. What else? Who else in the audience has any questions? Maybe either questions for Kimmy or for me, or I suppose anybody else in the chat. Does anybody else? Is there other questions out there that? Julie, are you? Have you been in one of the live events before, or are you new? Gray also used 30 milligrams of melatonin daily. I remember that. I knew that. I guess it didn't make it into the story, but I knew it. I remember talking about it when we were in Gatlinburg, near Gatlinburg, whatever it was. We were near Gatlinburg, on the hill, with the car show and the riot. Nopity dopity. Well, golly, Julie, I guess you're talking to me. Brenda says, Julie, if you haven't watched it, then go grab the tissue before you start. It is on the Texas Pictures Documentaries YouTube channel. It is. And let's see where it's at right now. We are at. Catch up. I'm just looking at how we're doing so far. 2,200 views so far. And Sherry went mudding. Yeah, a little bit on that weird hill. But it worked out. Kimberly's asking, Kimmy, how did you learn from your daughter's health? From, I guess, your daughter's experience. That surely you learned a lot. Kimmy, what are some of the big takeaways? I learned to advocate and to listen to my gut mostly. I learned what faith meant and I leaned on it heavily. Good answer. Uh oh. I'm almost out of coffee. Yeah, the idea of shooting video of that never even crossed my mind. The home that we were at was on a pretty steep hill with a gravel, a muddy gravel driveway. And it wasn't so much that Sherry went mudding as she kind of slid into mudding. Kimmy says, I love you all. It's been a pleasure watching this with you and getting to know all of you. It's time for me to put my sweet cancer-free baby in the bath. If you're interested in learning more about, okay. If you're interested in learning more about Roland suspense here, Kimmy. Glenn, when are you going to learn to get a refill before the live starts? Here's the thing, Brenda. I did. Hello, Cucker, and forgot the third one's name. Third one's name is Moxie. Stacy Michaels, we love to you and your family. Kimmy, truly amazing story. So, Kimmy, if you're still around, I feel like there's more to your last sentence. Could just be me. So, love you, Glenn. Send my love to Sherry. I will. She's nearby. So, how do people learn more, Kimmy? What's some guidance you can give people about learning more before you head out to take care of Gray? I know, I am. Holy cow! Yeah, Stacy, it's uh, I don't know. It's a gift. Moxie, if you need to go out, it'll be a minute. Your dad needs to go to the bathroom because he drank a full cup of coffee in 27 minutes. Yeah, I think. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Mhm. Probably more like 30, 35 minutes. Because, I get the coffee when I sit down and get the last of the tools involved in doing this live thing going. Uh, so uh, it's a little bit longer than when I show up here. Those hanging sentences. You talking about me? I feel like probably you are. I would like to learn more about Gray. Yeah, 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 yeah. Gray is Gray is awesome. Gray is such a happy spirited little 8-year-old girl, and very, I don't know, very, very warm and friendly, happy. You wouldn't know to talk to her that she has gone through this very challenging journey. That was cool. She was a joy to talk to. All the kids were. Lyric and Rowan and Gray. All the kids that were there. All the kids that I met. Denise Watson says, look up Pray for Gray. Yeah, Google Pray for Gray. Find it on Facebook. The Pray for Gray has a really large following on Facebook, and there's bound to be tons of information that can help you right there. So right now, Saving Gray is over 2,300 views, which is wonderful. That's about 60% higher than our average. Kimberly is still crying. I know it's a brutal roller coaster of a story. Now, well, thanks for being here, Stacy. We'll talk to you next time. Grateful for you taking the time to be a part of the live and to chime in and participate. Now, for those of you who might be watching the live on your TV, you can still log into the live on your phone as well, and then make comments using your phone. Participate in the chat using the phone. And I think on if you're watching it on a TV, you can't see the chat, I believe. Brenda says, Kimberly, there is a book titled Permanent Present Tense, The Unforgettable Life of the Amnesia Patient, HM. It is about brain tumors and surgery. Oh, wow. Julie says, thanks, Brenda. I'll have to check that out. Love it, Glenn and Sherry. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we are very blessed to be doing this, to be getting to meet so many wonderful people, so many people who genuinely want to help others by sharing their stories with us. It's an awesome place to be. It really, I'm very much living the dream, and Sherry and I get to travel a lot and meet people all over the country with stories to share. We get to do something that helps them, that helps others, and of course there is incredible reward to what all of this does for us. There's also some pretty spectacular challenges. There is always, regardless of the issue, there is always people who challenge whatever perspective is being presented, and some of them do so. I don't know what the best way to describe it is. Kind of passionately, but light on substance. You know what that means? I hope you get. I hope you understand what I mean. I'm not when it degrades to insults and name calling. Engineers tell you all the time that friction means something is being accomplished. So it's cool. It's it's I hope it's important to me. It's important to Sherry and I. It's important that we do what we can to contribute. There's one time a news reporter was doing a story about a documentary we did about a police officer, and it was something that we just did to do. We didn't make anything with it. We didn't charge anything to anyone for making it. And he asked me why, and I told him that if you have the ability and the resources to contribute, it's kind of a sin not to. And so, and when I said that in my head, I'm thinking, ooh, that's good. And it really, I think that's a great philosophy to go through life with. If you have the ability and the resources to contribute, it's a sin not to. So I think that's good. So here we are, 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. Who else in the audience might have some questions? Anything that... So I see we have 34 people in the room right now. Why? Why do I get this message now and then? It's a little bit... Sin is like a substance disease, yeah. So other people in the room, I see we have 35 people in the room right now, and we have 18 likes, 18 thumbs up. That's half of the people that are here right now. Just a little thumbs up thing. Just Does Kimmy still live in Memphis? I don't think so. They may, but they are working on moving back. Nikki B says, "Hi, Glenn. The work you do on their channel is incredibly moving. Thank you for sharing this story and so many others." Thank you. Thank you, Nikki. It really is living the dream for me. I'm in such a sweet spot. We don't have sponsors. We don't have clients. We don't have grants. We don't have any funding source of any type other than the revenue that comes from the advertising on our content from YouTube. And so what that means is we're not accountable to anyone except the storyteller and the audience, you guys. It is. I was, when we go do these storytelling summits, news crews sometimes come up and do features about the fentanyl stories mostly. But there was a news crew shooting us when we were in Portsmouth, Virginia, and the camera guy, he's older. Hey, he's like Brad's age, which is a whole lot like my age. And at one point he took me aside and he said, "Wow, you're really living the dream." He said something, "I'm jealous." He said, "I love what you're doing. This is great." And it's because of that. It's because of that. It's a freedom, but it's this wonderful, rewarding kind of, I don't know, responsibility. Okay, Nikki, that's a great question, because it's not what you think. It is I pretty much my whole adult life I've had a passion for documentaries. I was a journalism major in college, and I was always impressed with the power of film, the power of video, and so I got into industrial production, which was awesome. I worked for oil and gas companies and got to really see the world, all over the world, every continent on Earth except Antarctica, on someone else's money. So that was pretty sweet. And now and then I'd get to do a documentary, and when I started Texas Pictures in 2007, we started doing work for the Houston Police Department, and then that led to a few more documentaries, things that focused on impaired driving, and a little bit of stuff that focused on family violence. In 2009, that's when we started this channel. 2009. And so for the first, up until 2022, from 2009 to 2022, pretty much everything that we put on our channel was just about showcasing our work. We never really looked at YouTube as a platform to deliver messages to the public. We just used it to showcase our work. And so in 2022, when the DEA hired us to record stories at a Fentanyl Family Summit that they put on here in Houston, when we put those stories on our channel, everything kind of took off. Like, in a big way. In 2022, we had, over the course of those first, I don't know, however many years, those first 13 years, we accumulated a total of about 1,600 subscribers. And at the time, I thought that was pretty awesome, considering we weren't really trying to. And then we did the fentanyl stories for the DEA. And when we put those on our channel, everything changed. Everything took off. We're over 200,000 subscribers now. That's amazing. So let me see what else is going on after I leave the live video, because it's hard to get back to the chat after leaving the chat. My experience anyway. Anyone else? Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. Hit the like afterwards, because getting back and forth between the chat and the like button is a challenge. Yeah. Yeah, that's more on a phone, I think. But what I see during the live event is way different from what you guys are seeing. Miss Sheila, I try to hit the like as soon as I show up, or I get busy and forget. I'm easily distracted. And K West, love the story. Yeah, I did too. It's a really powerful story. So Nikki B, oh look, I can just really do cool stuff here, I think. Yeah, there we are. Nikki B says, wow, that's really awesome that you got to see the world that way and meet so many people. I've been subbed for a very long time. I've heard so many heartbreaks and heal subscriber. Okay, I understand what that is now. I'm a little slow. All right, so I'll show you something. I'm gonna move over here a little bit and watch this. How cool is that? So that's the places that we've been on business, working. Kind of cool, right? So here's the thing that I have learned from all of that is that people are the same everywhere. That they don't hate Americans. They don't that people are basically the same everywhere. And they love their families. They want to make a good living. They want to have some fun. They want to see their kids grow up. I'm starting to sound like Kennedy, I think. So, John Kennedy, not anyway. And on September 4th, 2024, God used Glenn to save a wretch like me from active fentanyl addiction. I owe my life to Glenn, and I am forever grateful. I thought I was going to die a fentanyl junkie. And here you are. But day 420 something. Right? Like 421, 422, somewhere around there. Updated map. Well, that was the world map. We do have the updated U.S. map also. I think it's over here somewhere. What do we got? Right there. Yeah. So here is the updated map of all of the locations where we have recorded, where we have had storytelling summits. At these storytelling summits, most of the stories tend to be about fentanyl. A lot of the stories lately have had to do with cannabis-induced psychosis. And we also, at these summits, we also record stories about topics like domestic violence and human trafficking, addiction recovery, and other stuff. But typically, the locations are mostly fentanyl. And these are the places where, oh, look at that. There's just a little bit of me showing around the corner there. We'll just fix that. There we go. So most of the stories are, look at that. Look, I can do that. Okay. So with all of these locations, every location happens because someone at that location asked us to come. And that's what kind of starts the ball rolling, and that local person becomes our event coordinator who helps us find a location. When I say helps, they find us a location to record our interviews. And they help us find storytellers. And when I say find storytellers, we announce the event, and people that are interested in sharing a story, they just come and talk to us. They sign up and just join us. And so it's really a pretty simple process. Looks like I don't care for Yankees. Okay, I feel like I'm missing Nikki. It really does feel amazing now that my life is really turning around. I am so happy for you, Brenda. Julie said the fentanyl stories are heart-wrenching. Thanks for your hard work. It is my pleasure, Julie. It is such a joy to give these parents a chance to share their loved one's story. To have this just have this moment where they get to take a trip down memory lane and share the things that they're proud of and the things that they struggle with and the challenges they faced. And when the interview is over, I can see this relief. Not because they're done talking to me. And there could be relief in that too, but there's a reward that they draw from it that is that because they got to take their terrible, tragic loss and get to pull something that has some bit of value and you can see it. You can see it in their face. You can feel it in the way that they hug me afterwards. And maybe that feeling only lasts a little while, but just that it happens at all is a big deal. And then when the story gets published, it tends to happen again. It's beautiful. Anyway, okay, I'm behind here. 422. I got to email you about days. Email me about days. You know, on broadcast TV, when they cut the commercial, that's when the guy who's sitting here gets to get a drink of water or coffee or whatever. So I don't get to do that whole cut the commercial thing. Okay, the maps look like you don't care for the Yankees. No, Brenda, that's not it at all. It is who comes to us. It is those who contact us. And so we've heard from quite a few people in Florida and Virginia and other locations, but it really we've been to Sandusky, Ohio. We've been to Pennsylvania. Been to Maryland, Virginia. Nikki B says made me laugh. I don't I don't have a clue what made you laugh, but Nikki, the hardest thing I've ever done, but damn, it feels good now. That's right, Brenda. You're on it. Glenn, how many storytellers in one location do you need for you and Sherry to come? Sheila, great question. Here's what we like is to record 6 to 8 stories a day for at least 2 days. And typically when we schedule an event, we can add a day if we need to. And it's not just the event coordinator's responsibility to find storytellers. When we schedule an event, we announce it on our channel and we announce it on our Facebook page and in our private Facebook group. And so that usually leads to some people signing up as well. Not very many typically, but some. So 6 to 8 a day for at least 2 days. And if you go to our website, texas-pictures.com, on the homepage, you'll find a link that will take you to a page on our website that explains the details about setting up what we call a storytelling summit. Brenda says, I had so many failed attempts at quitting. Then God decided he had had enough of my poor behavior. Thank goodness he didn't give up on me. Yay. Nikki Bean says, Brenda, I'm so proud of you. I know how hard that road can be, and you made it. Yeah. Brenda's making it every day. She has this great group just right here, just in what we're doing. We meaning everyone in the group. And then she has other support too. She has a husband she doesn't complain about, so that's let's see. I had so many failed that Brenda, I'm so proud of you. Brenda, God had mercy on my 26-year-old son a couple of times before he passed away from fentanyl. Very sorry, Sheila. Julie Strom says, I love Ohio. I enjoyed being there. Now, I think most of the places that I go, the real value, the real thing that I get out of it is the people that I meet. It's not so much the location as the people. And in Ohio, there's lots of wonderful people that I met there. And all the other locations that I've been to, except maybe one. But no, I am not going to tell you which one. All of the locations I've been to have been really spectacular. That every place my wife and I have been treated, we've been welcomed by the event coordinator, and all the storytellers are just they're so they're grateful that someone wants to hear their story and someone wants to make their story into something that's out there. And I feel very fortunate to get to do that. Brenda says, Sheila, I'm sorry you lost your son. I know he is no longer suffering, and he's making heaven just perfect for you. I believe all who suffered from addiction go to heaven because we lived through hell already. Well, that sounds reasonable to me, Brenda. Julie, you're comment about Ohio. Here's a weird thing about Ohio. You know, in Sandusky, you can stand on the bank of Lake Erie, and on the other side of the lake is Canada. So I'm basically at the U.S. northern border in that spot. And when I was there, 3 weeks earlier, I was standing on the bank of the Rio Grande. Like one step further, and my foot would be wet. Like on the bank. In the span of just under 3 weeks. So Brenda says, I won the husband lottery in 1983. He's really a great man. Well, clearly, because I don't think you'd have tolerated that otherwise. Key West says, excellent job. So happy for them. God bless. Love the channel. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, grateful for you being here. Sheila says, thank you. I believe he went through hell and back before God gave him peace from the disease. Anthony need to know basis. I just found this. If there is anyone in here tonight that is struggling with addiction, just know you do not have to live this life any longer. There is a better way. Lose your desire to use and find a new way to live. Anthony, so I just found this as in you're new to the channel or new to the live event? Chahuga Falls. Uh-huh. Brenda says, Anthony, you are so correct. If anyone need to reach out and does not feel comfortable speaking on the chat, my email is bgnmiller1@gmail.com. Anthony says, eternally grateful, recovering fentanyl addict here, 552 days today. We do recover. So, holy cow, you and Brenda could have a lot to talk about. Anthony, you're new to the channel. Holy cow. We have some stuff you should know about. If you're new to the channel and you're in recovery, we have, okay, I'm going to put a link in the chat. This link is to a playlist right there. The journey from addiction to recovery. We have about 50 stories of recovery. They are wonderful. I'm assuming Brenda has seen some of them. Is that a reasonable thing, Brenda? You've seen some of them. Sheila sending lots of love. I know you miss your baby. I'm sure he was wonderful. He was wonderful. Glenn, keep up the inspiring stories, please. They're saving lives and prepping parents for the tough conversations. I love that. The tough conversations. Yes. And the kids are never too young. The type of conversation can vary as the child gets older. But they're never too young to stress things that protect them. A 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, you probably can't talk to them about drugs in a way that they'll really understand. But you can talk to them about right and wrong. And drugs, buying drugs illicitly is illegal. Stress the importance of obeying the law. Brenda says, I've seen all the recovery stories more than once. Nikki B, Brenda O, I certainly will. He will love that. I must have missed something. Anthony, welcome. It's a beautiful, impactful channel. Thank you, Nikki. Going to spend time with my little one. Lots of love. Good to see you here, Nikki. Anthony says, Brenda, congratulations. Keep trudging the road to your own happy destiny. On this road to your happy destiny. She is in her happy destiny. Of course, not to accept anything from strangers. So really, Anthony, I think that you would, I think you probably like watching some of the recovery stories, maybe all the recovery stories. They're stories with happy endings, like our story tonight has a happy ending. An ending full of hope. Brenda says, Anthony, congrats to you too. I am now excited to see what each day brings, which is a far cry from my addiction days. I'm just so happy for you, Brenda. I think it's fantastic how things are going. So what else should Anthony know about the channel since he's a new guy? That typically we pretty much always do a live Monday night, and other lives happen as news stories are premiered typically. Sheila says, thank you, Nikki Bees. He recently passed on June 30th, 2025. It's all still very fresh. And so is his grave. We all miss him dearly. Before his addiction, he had a pure heart. My worst day clean and sober are far better than my best day high. Seems like once you get sober, it would be hard to think of any good day sober. Anthony, don't use Narcan. Use naloxone. This is one of Glenn's pet peeves. And holy cow, why did I miss a reference to? Did I miss a reference to Narcan, or is that just like one of the things? Because, gosh, Brenda, you kind of did cue it up. Am I going to have to get my graphic out again? Naloxone. Yeah, okay, now this box, it says Narcan on it. But they don't all say Narcan. But they do all say naloxone, including this one. Use all the ones that are the nasal sprayers, like this thing. That up the nose, and that's all there is to it. See, you queued it up, Brenda. I gotta just go through the whole thing. So I'm gonna lean over here again, like this. You have to move the mic a little bit. Here we go. So here's the deal. Look at all these boxes here. There is 6 boxes there. One of them says Narcan. None of the others do, but all of them say naloxone. And they all, wow, that was loud. And they all work the same way. Nasal spray up the nose. So that was certainly exciting and predictable for the folks that are on our channel often. But Anthony, don't use, okay. This channel has been, Carrie says this channel has been an informative tool to use the opportunity to have teenage children sit down with me and discuss the realities of addiction. And Julie is signing off. Thank you for being here, Julie. I appreciate you being here. So here's a thing. Carrie touched on something that I think is important about getting kids to watch our content. One of the ways, if I feel like in that age range between 12 and 15 or 16, a lot of times in that age range, the kids think they have everything figured out. So, I'll get right to your question, Sheila. If you can't persuade a teenage kid to sit down and watch the content because you want them to know what the information is, there's another way. One of our viewers suggested this and does it a lot, to go to their kid and say, hey, I saw this thing on YouTube and I'm not sure it's accurate. Could you look at it and you tell me if it's accurate in your school? Then you give the child a chance to be a hero by informing you. And the end result is that they watch the content. Another viewer said that she plays the stories on her phone in the car when they're running errands, making the use of the captive audience. Where do we buy the Narcan from? You can get it at Walgreens, Walmart, CVS. They all have it, but there's also free sources out there to get it as well. And so there's a lot of options. If you Google where to find naloxone, which is Narcan and all the others that were in that graphic that I'm sure nobody wants to see again. If you Google it, you can find a lot of resources. Like at Walgreens, they have a Walgreens brand. Just Walgreens naloxone behind the counter. In this area, it's $22, whereas brand name Narcan is like $36 for a box that contains 2 doses. but there are a lot of ways to get free naloxone, Narcan, Cloxoto, something. You can, if you search for it online, you can find ways based on what part of the country you're in. If you go to an opioid awareness event, chances are really good that there's going to be at least one or two exhibits at the awareness event or fentanyl awareness event or whatever. There'll be at least one or two exhibits that are giving it away free. Risk says try your local health department. Right. Fire departments, I've heard, sometimes give it away also. Brenda asks if Risk has been lurking the whole time because Brenda sometimes lurks and assumes everybody else does. I see what's happening there. Police department, health department, fire department, harm reduction centers, too, often have giveaways. Some drugstores will give it away. So I've been told. We manage somebody when we go on these storytelling summits, somebody typically brings it, and I usually bring it as well, especially if I'm driving. I'll have a box or two. I mean, like a case or two. It's like, I don't know, 20, has 20 of these inside it. And I'll give those away, but then at whatever summit it is, at the summit, someone will show up and give me another case. And so I tend to stay reasonably well stocked. Sheila says, great advice, Glenn and Brenda. I'll try to find it free. First Springfield, Illinois. Glenn, I have to see if we have those events here. Springfield, you must. I would think. I would think there must be something like that going on. Wouldn't you think? Carrie says, I do the same thing as well. I play stories on my phone when I'm picking up my kids from school, when we are running errands, and when I'm taking them back and forth to their jobs. That's a good one. See? That's being creative because they're trapped in the car. Riss says, where is Carla? Maybe they're out doing something cool. It's Saturday night. Maybe they're out doing something cool. Carrie, your last post brought back memories of being the mom taxi, and now I am tired just thinking of those days. Yeah, it's not just the mom taxi thing. And Risk is asking, Carrie, do you have a story on here? No, I don't believe Carrie does. Risk, Brad was here earlier, but I'm sure he has had to go to bed by now. Haven't seen Carla. Hope she is doing well. See, it could be that Brad just kind of dozed off in front of his computer or in front of his phone. That he's in his dreams, he's still in the chat. Because, it's Brad. Sheila says, my baby died in Charleston, North Carolina. Fentanyl poisoning is huge there for sure. We have been to North Carolina twice, I believe. It all kind of runs together to me now, but I was just in North Carolina, in Lexington, North Carolina, just like a month or so ago. Risk says, I come here mostly to check on her. Well, okay, Risk. But the rest of us, is that what you're saying? Of course not. Of course not. Appreciate you being here, Risk. So right now, Saving Gray. I'm checking. Saving Gray has over 3,100 views right now. And that is 50% higher than our average. Risk threw us a bone. I like the rest of y'all also. And we appreciate their Risk. Carrie, we had the only in-ground pool in the days before cell phones. The summertime, I was mom to 40 or 50 swimming teenagers. Do you know how many chips teenagers can eat? Thank God for Sam's. I can't tell you guys enough how grateful I am for all of you, for you being here, participating in these live chat events and sharing your insight, your struggles, your victories, your feedback for our stories. Those things really, really go a long way with me. They really they have great value. And they guide me that really when I'm interviewing a storyteller, the things that I learn in these live events, hearing from you guys, our audience, it's real gold for me. That it helps me understand more about what kind of questions I should be asking, what kind of questions matter to the audience, or how to ask a question in a way that best suits what the audience's interests are. So I'm really, really grateful for you guys, for you folks who regularly participate in the live events, and for anyone who's new, I'm grateful for you too. So we don't really have a firm schedule for our live events other than virtually always happens on Mondays. And then it happens one or two or three other times in the course of the week. But Mondays are virtually every time there will be a premiere, usually a fentanyl story, and then there will be a live event. Brenda says, Risk, I worry about Brad just as much. The strength he shows in caring for Carla and her family is amazing, but I worry how long he can hold up. Sheila. Glenn, your channel mysteriously found me after my son passed. I didn't have a clue before. Thank you for letting God use you. that's I don't know. I don't know how to respond to that. That is so on target. So that hits so close to home right now. I appreciate that very much. Sheila. Carrie says, "Thank you, Risk. It has been a journey for our entire family." Yeah, I'm sure. That's the thing. There's never just one victim. There's a whole extended family of victims. It's like a grenade in a crowd. So I'm hearing from Kimmy here. So I'm just checking something here. So, what did I miss? What did I miss? Sheila, I'm glad that you found our channel. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you find some kind of value in our story. Yeah, for sure. It Brenda's worried about Brad. Next time I'll try to have a picture ready, a picture of me and Brad in Oklahoma. Brenda, I don't think did we get a picture together? Because I remember you wound up having to leave early. But next time I'll share a picture of me and Brad. It's actually a picture that Carla sent me not long ago at all. And it's well shot. You can't see Brad's walker or anything like that. And that's good. Your battery's extremely low. Well, Sheila, you got to take care of the battery. We are going to wrap it up here too because we've been here 90 minutes now. And I think that's probably long enough. So we're going to wrap it up. So Brenda, you got something to say, I bet. Brad's back. Wow. You woke up. No, Brad. We don't have any hoodies with zippers yet. I should really sort that out. But if I did sort it out, I'm a little bit scared of what kind of question you're going to come up with next. Brenda's asking, Carrie, was a toxicology done on your stepmom? I asked because heroin was dwindling 5 years ago, so I'm wondering if it could have been fentanyl. The hoodies with the zippers. Yeah. As Brenda always says, everyone needs to remember that what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. God bless. Gary says high dose of heroin, traces of fentanyl, Xanax, Adderall, and OxyContin. All right, folks. So it is time to wrap it up for tonight. We have been here an hour and 30 minutes and 30 seconds. Well, not anymore. 34 seconds. And, well, not anymore. Okay. Anyway. So we're going to wrap it up for tonight. But thank you all very much for being here and being a part of this event. It really means a lot to me. Be sure to hit the like button at some point. And I always like to remind you, let me see if I can find our closing credit graphic thing, the same one we always use. I always like to remind everyone that we are really here for you. If there's anything that we can do, if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have ideas, whatever, reach out to us, share. We're here for you guys. You're important. Brad, where's Carrie Xanax with any opioid or opiate is prone to being lethal. Very sorry for your loss. Me too. All right, so we're going to wrap it up for now. But remember, folks, you can reach out to us at any time by email at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find us on Facebook by searching for my name, Glenn Muse, and then matching the profile picture with the face that you've been dealing with for the last hour. And we are also on TikTok, and you can learn more about us from our website, texas-pictures.com. On our website, you can find information about how to share your story, a link to our merchandise store, and more information about us, like a mailing address and a phone number and all that cool stuff. So I want to say one last time, thank you all for being a part of us, and we will see you next time. So good night for now.